Hello, Captains. It's me, TONIK TZW, here in the Tier 8 Premium. I think it's Pan-European, is it? Destroyer the Velos. I've called this one a Greek tragedy, and I'm sure that if Socrates was still alive today, he would really enjoy sitting down and writing the dialogue for this video for me. I'm running Stig Hansen Eriksson, and I've got Eric Beer and Jersey Swirsky on this one, pretty much running full concealment. And as one of our modules, we have got an epic torpedo reload booster because the guns, I think, are fast enough, and the more damage we do, the faster our torpedoes reload. We are up tiered to legendary. We are the only destroyer in the game, and there are 2 radar cruisers out there and a lot of battleships. Now, the one thing that you don't want to do at the start of a game as the only destroyer is get killed, because that would truly be a Greek tragedy, and your team would absolutely hate you, and it would probably be very much along the lines of what the Romans did to Julius Caesar. They would all love to get you in a room and stab you in the back. But the Romans aren't Greek, are they? They're Italian. So I don't know any other references for Greek murders. If you're a philosopher or studier of philosophy, then let me know in the comments if there is a Greek story that would cover those lines along the lines of Caesar being murdered. But what I'm counting on is that the other destroyer also doesn't want to get killed very early in the game. Now, what I don't want to do is get lit up by a radar cruiser, so I'm going to keep an eye on what ships get spotted and where. There we go, there's a Kronstadt. We want to get rid of him. And I can see from my perceptive indicator or twist and track, can't remember which one it is I'm running, that my closest target, and the fact that I'm located, is way across there on the left flank. So I think their destroyer has gone to Charlie Cap. So I'm slap bang in the middle of the map, not really supported, and it looks to be one of those games where everybody has just rushed to the flanks. Now, one of the things that gets me is I think there is a Tulsa across there on Charlie Cap who's got radar, and if Red Team's destroyer is over there, then they should really be able to get rid of it with a Tulsa. There's the Alaska, and knowing that I think it's a 9K radar range, I don't want to get in near him. I want the team to take care of them. And there are plenty of ships there across behind that little island on ACAP that could potentially take care of that Alaska and not let him sail straight into the middle of the map. But you can see, because it is legendary tier, people are doing legendary things, and they're hiding behind the hills like legendary potatoes. I've taken B cap. We've got an advantage here. We're going to start picking up points. And our Michelangelo, I think it is going to go running into this guy. And the thing is, with the Velos, you've only got one rack of torpedoes. And you've got a choice of a slightly narrower or slightly wider spread. And I decide that I'm going to chip in with this cruiser and do what I can on this Alaska. Now, whether or not he's burned his radar already pushing into the cap, I don't know. I imagine that as a cruiser player, he would have screened the cap with radar before he pushed in to make sure there wasn't a destroyer nearby. But Red Team have got 3 battleships and another cruiser on the side of, or this side of the map, along with this Alaska. And it's looking very, very messy. But he takes 2 torpedoes and is out of the game. So I know the only other radar is about 20 kilometers behind me. And so I am going to get pushed into this capture point. I did message this Michelangelo afterwards, and I said it maybe wasn't the smartest of ideas to go charging into the capture point, but I really, really do appreciate the fact that you did push and you did help to take care of that Alaska. So it was a noble, noble sacrifice there, because I don't think he was ever going to survive against the ships that were pushing him. And once again, I find myself
He's in the smoke screen,
surrounded by a
essentially
red
pinning the
team
phone shut.
in the middle of a cap and literally having to park my butt here and watch that timer count down second by second. And no word of a lie, when you're a destroyer in a capture point like this, with the rest of your team hiding behind islands, I mean, just look at Charlie Cap. They're just strung out like daisies. Nobody anywhere near the cap. Um, yeah, these guys are all tucked in behind an island. It's not going to really work for them. I'm expecting this Montana to pick up a bit of speed, which is why I lead the torpedoes across there. But red team know there's a destroyer down here, and they are just going to keep pushing the flank. But this Carl Johan fancies his chances, and so having taken the cap, I'm going to get out of it again because I don't want that defense taking shots at me, and I really don't want to be put in a position where I haven't got anywhere to move. Obviously, I'm pretty much the one spotting things here, and I'm looking around and looking for my support. I'm looking for a way out, looking what this Carl Johan is doing, and I'm thinking, is he going to turn into the cap? We put the torpedoes there. We do get a hit on something. I didn't see what that was, but the defense is turning in as well. That is a nasty, nasty ship. I haven't played it much myself, but where I've seen people who've had good games in it, they've had very, very good games in it. And I know this Carl Johan's got really long secondaries. Excuse me while I clear my throat. I was just watching my smoke run down, hoping this guy's going to fire his main guns. That's going to keep him spotted. That defense also knows I'm here, and he is going to push for the cap as well. But we get a fire on the Carl Johan there. And look, nobody at all wants to come out from behind that hill and to give me a hand on these guys. But the defense is on the cap now. I don't know whether he tries to blind fire me, but we lose sight of him, and that is a bit disappointing. We get a hit on him, double cap reset, and now that he is either spotted or has fired his guns, we can put some shots onto him as well, and we can keep that cap from getting reset. And the one thing I couldn't remember at this point in the game is what are the defense's torpedo ranges. But it looks like he doesn't want to hang around in the middle of that cap anymore. Blue team on the other side of the map. Looks like they've lost one ship. They've pushed into Charlie, and I'm just going to blind fire the corner of this island here, thinking that Carl Johan might still be there. And we get another cap reset, which was surprising. So is he actually tucked in? Time to move again. We don't want to be a dope in a smoke, do we? Vermont out there. There's a Vermont there. There was, I think, is it a Yamato? Yep. And what's that? We got something else there as well. And nobody has got eyes on the cap because I obviously dropped my smoke. So I decide that I'm going to push around this island, try and get sight on to the cap again, although it stops getting turned. There's the Carl Johan the 14th. There's the Montana. Our Yamato is getting absolutely spanked, and I'm watching this Carl Johan pull round this corner again as we lose our Yamato. That is absolutely awesome, and it's because I couldn't keep that defense spotted. But he has run all the way across the cap. He has popped his smoke. And here we go. This guy here is also flat broadside, our defense. And what's going to happen there to that Montana? Because our defense is broadside to their defense and to the Carl Johan. And I'm thinking of becoming a distraction here, but I'm also watching the timer on my torpedo reload. Great job, Vermont. Gets rid of that guy. That does me a favor, but all people have done is move from one hill to the next. We lose our defense because he was flat broadside, and so now we're going to try and get a fire onto this Carl Johan. And as well as that, obviously we are trying to become a distraction. We want him to shoot at us and not to shoot at our guys. We know he's got his secondaries, so we're going to keep whaling on there. We run past the smoke screen, we get another target detected, so we stop shooting, knowing that we are out of detection range for our main guns. And now we're going to open up a little bit of distance here. Seriously thinking that this guy should have been dead well before now. We get a smoke up again, and again, once again, we know this guy has got torpedoes. We know he's got secondary. I'm thinking, does he have sonar? I don't think he does, as we lose another Vermont. But he goes out of the game, and we get a kill assist. We've only got the one kill assist, but we've got 2 solo caps. We've got a couple of cap resets there, and just under 77,000 damage. But practically the rest of the team, apart from this Vermont, are now dead. Now, that is a bit of a tragedy, especially given that there's 4.5 minutes to play on the game. Because we do have a lead of about 200 points, but with red team pushing into 2 caps, it's going to take a minute for those caps to flip. But those 2 caps are probably going to give red team more than enough time to pull back the difference in points and to win this game hands down. It is 5 ships versus 2. This is not a situation that you want to find yourself in at all. We know that there is 1 ship to our rear, and what I'm hoping is the Vermont can take care of that. Holy moly, there's a Christopher Colombo. He's got quite a bit of health on him. We know there is also a destroyer out this way. Now, I don't know how much health that destroyer has got on it, but he's here in the middle of the map, and very shortly we are going to bump into him. Look at that. He is practically full health. Sumner, gunboat. What have I got to do? I've got no smokes left, so all I'm thinking is kite away, go guns on this guy, try to stay skinny to as many people as possible, and just try and do as much damage to this guy as possible. And at this point in the game, I really am expecting to die and for this game to be over. RNG is absolutely shafting me on the fall of shot. He goes away. I decide to stop firing, turn my back into him, and basically let him go into his smoke. And if I get far enough away from that Christopher Colombo, I'm going to go dark. And that is going to be a problem for them. So their destroyer, like I said, he was a gunboat. He should have just kept pushing me. He had such a huge advantage because he had the Christopher Colombo there behind him. There is at least 1 other battleship there. And to be frank, with the ship that he had versus the Velos, he should have just kept railing on me until I was dead. Now, that guy there is running his smoke screen, which means that I can fire on him undetected. But because he has fired his main guns, he is going to stay detected by me. But this is looking dodgy as hell. The Vermont gets a hell of a shot on him and somehow manages to survive a full salvo from the Christopher Colombo. And that is got to be the, well, not a full salvo, a half salvo. But he doesn't survive the second half of the salvo and goes out of the game. And I'm looking at the points and I'm thinking they're literally doing a quick bit of maths in my head of 3 points per cap every 5 seconds is 6 points every 5 seconds. That's 12 sixes is 72 points in a minute, and there is more than enough time left on the clock still for red team to pull this one back. So I need to kill something, and I have to say that was every bit of luck that I needed in this game. God, I think if people hadn't been stuck behind the islands for as long as they were, and red team hadn't been able to push as aggressively as they did, it wouldn't be this way. But look at the points. There are 200 points difference. We have got 1 minute on the clock, and that should be a 72-point difference. So the only way that red team are going to win now is by killing me. And then that happens. Red team move onto A cap. I can't see what it is, because I know I've got a destroyer behind me and I'm just running away as fast as I can. The fact that they're on A cap and that there's not a minute left means that although they're stopping us getting our 3 points a minute, that the difference in the points means that they and the time difference means that they're not going to flip A cap and earn any points from that, but also that that ship on A cap is not chasing me. The only ship that's chasing me that could potentially catch me is the destroyer, and I'm not going to let that happen. Now, if you remember, that Vermont died before I killed the Christopher Colombo, and that means that I get a solo warrior, one of the hardest medals to get in the game, and normally done because you played very well and the rest of your team potatoed, and you had the common sense to run away. So sorry for causing a little bit of a Greek tragedy for Red Team with that one. Um, but what I will say is, you're welcome, Blue Team. You really made it difficult, but somehow we managed to pull a win from that one. So I hope you have enjoyed that one. I can't remember if I had a cracker on the Velos yet. I don't think I have. But please do smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of the game. Let me know how many solo warriors you've got. Until next time, as always, take care and goodbye.